children, I welcome you all to this English classroom. Let us start the class with a beautiful quote. Learning never exhausts the mind. Learning never exhausts the mind. இதனுடைய அர்த்தம் என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா விருப்பத்தோட கல்வி கற்றுக்கும் போது அது உங்கள் மனதை சோர்வடைய செய்யாது. So keep learning and elevate your standard. Before going into the prose piece, let us have a look at the learning outcomes. Learning outcome number 1. Listens and reads to gather information and answer the questions. Learning outcome number 2. Speak fluently with proper pronunciation, intonation and pass with appropriate grammar. Learning outcome number 3. Use and edit passages with proper punctuation marks, grammar and correct spelling. Children, today we are going to see a beautiful prose piece from 9th standard English. The title is I Can't Climb Trees Anymore. I Can't Climb Trees Anymore. It was written by Ruskin Bond. Let us have a look at the author. Ruskin Bond was born on 19th May 1943 in Himachal Pradesh. He was an award-winning Indian author of British descent. His father was a British soldier. He was so much renowned for his role in promoting children's literature in India. For instance, in those days, children's literature was widely acknowledged and recognized in European countries. But whereas in Asian countries in India, children's literature was not at all recognized. But authors like Ruskin Bond worked on it and helped to elevate children's literature in India. And for this act, the Indian Council for Children's Education has acknowledged his work. In addition to that, he also received Sahitya Academy Award in the year 1992. Sahitya Academy Award is a very prestigious award for any writer, and he received it for a wonderful work called Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra. In addition to that, he also received Padma Shri in the year 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. As a prolific writer, he wrote more than 500 short stories, essays and novels. And his famous work, Blue Umbrella, was made into a movie which later received the National Award in the year 2007 for the best children's literature movie. And that's all about the author. Now we will start the prose. Here, Ruskin Bond deals excellently with the emotions and memories of a middle-aged person who wants to revive his youth. The visit. One day, a middle-aged gentleman visits his old house. He stood on the grass verge by the side of the building and monitored the beautiful old house. The old house, which was built with solid blocks of granite, was not altered at all. It was simply the same, but he was able to monitor a new outhouse in the campus. And he was enjoying the atmosphere. In those days, when he used to live there, there used to be a lot of trees because the visitor's grandmother loved gardening and she is a woman of nature. But now, today, some trees were chopped off, only fewer trees were there. But he was so glad to look at one tree, that is the old jackfruit tree, which he loved so much. It stood at the side of the building, casting its shade on the house. And immediately he remembered his grandmother saying, "The shades of a tree falling on a house is a blessing." அவர் அந்த மரத்தை பார்க்குறாரு, அந்த மரத்தினுடைய நிழல் அந்த வீட்டில் விழுகுது. அவங்க கிராண்ட்மதர் என்ன சொன்னான்றதை இன்னைக்கு நினச்சி பார்க்குறாரு. ஒரு மரத்தினுடைய நிழல் வீட்டு மேலே படுறது இயற்கையோட ஆசீர்வாதம்னு சொல்கிறாரு. ஸோ ஹியர் the present owners must be receiving it. And now slowly he started to remember all the olden days. At the spot where he stood, there used to be a turnstile. What is a turnstile? It is a mechanical gate with revolving arms fixed to a post. In those days, turnstile gates are very common, but right now we don't have that kind of gates. We all became modernized and we install some other aspects. When I was a kid, in my school, there used to be a turnstile. Only one person can enter through it. It will have a revolving action. It will prevent a crowd entry into the park or in the school. So there used to be a turnstile on which the author used to swing and revolve around until he gets dizzy. It's a wonderful experience. And right now, the turnstile is missing and the opening is walled up. On the other side of the wall, he could see tall hollyhocks. It's a beautiful Eurasian plant which has large flowers. Okay, he could see other plants as well. And When he was looking at the house, a beautiful little girl comes out of the house. And the girl approaches the visitor and asks him, "What are you looking at?" Because when some stranger is looking at a place, this would be the question that we ask him. The girl might be 12 or 13 years old. She had lively eyes and long black hair. That was the right person to speak with. And she repeated the same question to the author. What is the purpose of visit? Is he there to buy the house? But the gentleman said, "No, baby, I am not here to buy the house." And he also inquired the girl about her father and the house. The girl replied, "We are living here for 3 years and my father is an army officer. He is a colonel." And now the author explains her that before 25 years, the visitor used to stay in the same place as a boy, as an young man. When the grandmother passed away, when the gentleman's grandmother passed away, they have nothing left. So they sold the place and moved out of the town. Listening to these words, the girl wanted to invite the gentleman to the house to have a closer look. But at first, the gentleman hesitates because if some elderly person is there in the house, they may not encourage these kind of activities of children. The girl informs the gentleman that her parents has gone for the clubs and she is allowed to bring her friends to the house. பாத்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க அப்பா அம்மா கிளப்புக்கு போயிருக்காங்க. இப்போ அந்த பொண்ணு மட்டும் தான் தனியா இருக்கா. அதனால அந்த விசிட்டரை தாராளமா உள்ள கூப்பிடலான்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு ஃப்ரெண்டா ட்ரீட் பண்றான். பட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் த விசிட்டர் ஹெசிடேட்ஸ். ஏம்மா இவ்வளோ பெரிய வயசான ஆளுமா ஃப்ரெண்டாக உள்ள அலோவ் பண்ண ஒத்துக்குவாங்க அவங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் அப்படின்னு கேட்குறாரு. அந்த பொண்ணு பரவாயில்ல வாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இன்வைட் பண்ணுறான். அண்ட் நவ் மீட்டிங் த கேர்ள் and enjoying the atmosphere, he felt so young that day, he wanted to climb the wall. He made a decision to climb the wall as he used to do that once. முன்னாடி அவர் சின்ன பையனாக இருக்கும் போது அந்த செவரை எகிரி குதிக்கிறது ஒரு வாடிக்கையாக வச்சுருந்தார். ஏன்னா அப்பா அவர் ரொம்ப யங்காக இருந்தார். பட் ரைட் நவ் தட்ஸ் நாட் த கேஸ். But still, he started to climb the wall. He felt very difficult. At a certain point of time, he muttered himself that he shouldn't have done that. பாதி தூரம் ஏறினதுக்கு அப்புறம் அவருக்கு அவரே சொல்லிக்கிட்டாரு, தேவையில்லாத வேலையை செஞ்சுட்டோமோ, வயசாகி போச்சோ, நம்மளால ஏற முடியலையே அப்படின்னு ரொம்ப ஃபீல் பண்றாரு. But the girl lent her hand and pulled the visitor inside. அந்த பொண்ணு என்ன பண்றா, கையை பிடிச்சி அவரை உள்ள இழுத்து விடுறா. After getting down, he was completely exhausted and he sat on the stone bench below the mango tree and inhaled the scent of the beautiful, awesome mangoes. போய் அந்த கல்லுல உட்காந்து அப்பா அப்படின்னு ரெஸ்ட் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்காரு. And he started to converse with the little girl and he just shared his past experience with the girl. பழைய கால நினைவுகளை அந்த சிறுமி கூட அவர் பகிர்ந்துக்கிறார். And he said that is the place, the stone bench is the place where his grandmother used to sit and lie down after maintaining the garden, especially pruning the rose bushes and cutting down the bougainvillea trees. அங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா அங்க இருக்கக்கூடிய செடிகள் எல்லாம் பராமரிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம், அங்க இருக்கக்கூடிய மரங்களுக்கு தண்ணி விட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம், செடிகளை நரிஷ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் அவங்க கிராண்ட்மதர் அந்த இடத்துல தான் உட்கார்ந்துருப்பாங்க, ரெஸ்ட் எடுப்பாங்க. He closed his eyes and remembered all the aspects that happened in his life. He remembered the sound, the music of the piano. His grandfather used to play piano. There is where he also learned music. So he remembered the music of the piano, the chiming of grandfather's old clock, and the beautiful tweet of budgerigas. What is a budgeriga? Okay, it's a beautiful bird, Australian-based bird, and the sound of the bird is so pleasant. The author used to admire the bird, and he also remembers his grandfather cranking up the old car engine. Nowadays, in the modern cars, it's quite difficult to get that kind of a typical sound, but in those days, the old car engines had a typical sound when we act to start up the car. And he remembers that as well. And he also shared an important piece of information, treasures in the jackfruit. The jackfruit tree, the author simply loved the jackfruit tree so much. He used to climb on the jackfruit tree when he was a boy, when he was a young man. And there used to be a small hollow where he used to hide some of his articles, especially few marbles, a book that is not supposed to read, few old coins, and an iron cross which belonged to his grandfather. And this iron cross was given to him by a German soldier. இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த அருமையான அந்த ஜாக்ஃப்ரூட் ட்ரீ ஆத்தருக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது, அந்த விசிட்டருக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச ஒரு ட்ரீ. அதுதான் சின்ன வயசாக இருக்கும் போது அந்த திக் பிரான்ச்சஸை ஏறி ஏறி அவர் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணுவார். அங்கே ஒரு சின்ன பொந்து இருக்கும், ஒரு சின்ன ஹாலோ இருக்கும், அதில் இவரோட திங்ஸை கொண்டு போய் மறைச்சி வச்சுப்பார். அதை பாதுகாக்கிறதுக்காக என்னென்ன வச்சுருந்தாருன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சின்ன சின்ன மார்பிள் ஸ்டோன்ஸ், காயின்ஸ், புக்கு, அது இல்லாமல் ரொம்ப முக்கியமாக அவங்க தாத்தாவுடைய ஓல்டு அயன் கிராஸ். ஓகே, அது ஒரு ஜெர்மன் சோல்ஜர் அவங்க தாத்தாவுக்கு கிஃப்ட் பண்ணுது. அண்ட் த கேர்ள் இமீடியட்லி ஆஸ்க்ட், "Do you want to climb the tree now?" But after climbing the wall, he was completely tired and he made up his mind, okay, no more climbing. But the girl was so clever and she wanted to climb the tree and look for the articles. But the visitor said to her, "Girl, it's almost 25 years. Hopefully nothing would be there." But the curious girl wanted to climb the tree and she climbed the thick branches of the tree and she found the iron cross from the hollow. And she gave that to the visitor. He held the iron cross in his arm and it gave him immense pleasure. And he gifted the same to the little girl because she found the red iron cross. இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவர் 25 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி அந்த வச்சுட்டு போன திங்ஸ் எல்லாம் இன்னும் இருக்குமான்னு அவர் கனவுல கூட நினச்சி பார்த்துருக்க மாட்டார். பட் த கியூரியாசிட்டி ஆஃப் த கேர்ள் ஹெல்ப் him to get it back. அந்த பொண்ணு என்ன பண்ணுறா, அந்த ட்ரீயை ரொம்ப சிரமப்பட்டு ஏறி அந்த சின்ன ஹாலோவில் கையை விட்டு அங்கே ஏதாவது திங்ஸ் இருக்கான்னு பார்க்குறா. அண்ட் ஷி ஃபவுண்ட் தி அயன் கிராஸ். இந்த அயன் கிராஸ் இவங்க தாத்தா ஒரு பிரிட்டிஷ் சோல்ஜர், இவருக்கு பரிசா ஒரு ஜெர்மன் சோல்ஜர் கொடுத்தது தான் இந்த அயன் கிராஸ். அது ரொம்ப ஸ்பெஷல். அது அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு அவர் கிஃப்டாக கொடுக்குறாரு. ஏன் அப்படின்னா அவள் தான் அதை கண்டுபிடிச்சா அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக. அண்ட் ஹி sat down on the garden. He enjoyed the entire atmosphere. He enjoyed the environment, everything. And now it's time for him to move out. அங்கே உட்காந்து தன்னைத்தானே என்ஜாய் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு அந்த கார்டன், அந்த பழைய நினைவுகளை எல்லாம் அப்படியே அவர் ரிவைவ் பண்ணிட்டு இப்போது அந்த இடத்த விட்டு கிளம்ப வேண்டிய நேரம் வந்துருச்சு. ஸோ ஹீ ஸ்டார்டட் அண்ட் த கேர்ள் அக்கம்பனிட் ஹிம் டில் த கேட். அந்த பொண்ணு அவர் கூடவே கேட் வரைக்கும் வரா. ஹீ கிராஸ் த ரோட் அண்ட் வேவ்ட் அட் ஹர். அண்ட் நவ் தேர் வாஸ் அ ஸ்ப்ரைட்லினஸ் இன் இஸ் வாக். ஒரு காலில் ஒரு துடிப்பும் ஒரு எனர்ஜியும். ஓகே, ரொம்ப நாள் கழிச்சு அவருடைய பழைய வீட்டை பார்த்ததுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு எனர்ஜி இருந்தது. அந்த எனர்ஜியோட வேகமாக நடந்து போகிறாரு. But he missed something there in the house. Something cried aloud in his heart. The mango-scented breeze made his blood course in his vein, and he forgot for a moment that he can't climb trees anymore. பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் கடந்த காலம் ஒன்று இருக்கும். For instance, even when I was a kid, I used to visit my grandparents during my holidays. I always enjoy the food cooked by my grandmother because she used to cook specially for me. In addition to that, my grandfather used to take me in his old bicycle through the paddy fields. I simply enjoyed that. And after their period, even whenever I visit that place, the village, I remember all the good memories. இப்போ ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். அது மாதிரி நீங்கள் சின்ன பையனாக இருக்கும் போது, சின்ன குழந்தையாக இருக்கும் போது உங்களுக்கு நடந்த நிகழ்வுகள், உங்களுக்கு நடந்த ஒரு அற்புதமான காலநிலையை திரும்பி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அது ரொம்ப பிரமாதமாக இருக்கும். And to conclude the lesson, always look back the past. Always respect the stepping stones which helped you to elevate you in the life. And now we will move on to the exercise. A lot of new words are used in this prose piece. Now we'll see the glossary. Along with the glossary, I am going to say the part of the speech as well. Turnstile. Turnstile. It's a noun, a mechanical gate of revolving arms fixed to a post. Only one person can enter at a time. Okay, in modern days you can see modernized turnstiles only in the airport and modern day railway stations. It will prevent crowd entry. Only one person can enter through it. Hollyhocks. It's a noun. Hollyhocks, a tall Eurasian plant of the mallow family with large showy flowers. It's a beautiful plant. Okay, it will grow tall. There used to be a large flower. Okay, showy flower. Colonel. It's a noun. Colonel, a rank of officer in the army. Here in the story, the little girl's father is an army officer. Okay, he is a colonel. Trapeze, it's a noun. Trapeze, a horizontal bar hanging by two ropes, free to swing, used by acrobats in circus. For example, circusல சர்க்கஸ் கலைஞர்கள்லாம் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. அந்த acrobat, அந்த சாகசம்லாம் செய்யறதுக்கு ஒரு கட்டை ரெண்டு பக்கம் கயிறு கட்டுற மாதிரி இருக்கும். அதில் தொங்கிட்டு தான் சாகசம் செய்வாங்க. And that's what we call it as trapeze. Even the painters used to climb on the trapeze to paint the walls. Muttered. Muttered. It's a verb to utter words in low tone. To utter words in low tone. For instance, when the author climbed the wall, He felt very difficult and out of his breath, he muttered to himself that he shouldn't have climbed the wall at all. The next one is slithered. It's a verb, slithered. Slide or slip unsteadily on a loose or slippery surface. To slide or slipper. To slide or slip. Pruning. It's a verb. Pruning. The act of trimming a plant. So here in the story, the visitor's grandmother is a lover of gardens. She maintained the garden very well. So now and then she used to prune the rose plant and the bougainvillea bushes. Okay. Next word is bougainvillea. Some people used to call this as bougainvillea. It's a wrong pronunciation. The right pronunciation is bougainvillea. It's a noun. An ornamental shrubby climbing plant that is widely cultivated in tropics. நம்ம ஊர் பக்கம் அந்த காகித பூ சொல்லுவோம்ல, that's the same. Okay, bougainvillea, it's a noun. And now we are going to see whether the statement is true or false. The visitor had few old coins in the tree. The visitor had few old coins in the tree. Yes, true. Okay, the visitor used to keep few old coins on the hollow of the old jackfruit tree. The purpose of visit is to buy the house back. False. The visitor was not there to buy back the house. He just wanted to visit it once. And he wanted to remember all his good old days, the bygone days. As a boy, the visitor used to swing on the turnstile. As a boy, the visitor used to swing on the turnstile. True. Because there used to be a turnstile in the house and the visitor used to swing on it till he gets dizzy. So the statement is true. A girl came out of the house. True. A little girl of 12 or 13 years old came out of the building and she communicated with the visitor. The visitor climbed over the wall easily. The visitor climbed over the wall easily. False. He climbed the wall with a lot of difficulties and finally the little girl helped him to climb the wall. So it was not an easy task. Statement is false. And now we will choose the right answer from the given. The story I can't climb trees anymore highlights the importance of dash. Option A, old age. Option B, youth. Option C, childhood. Option D, middle age. The right answer is option D, middle age. The house which was visited by the man dash. A, remained unchanged. B, was totally changed. C, was slightly repaired. D, was given a facelift. Option A, remained unchanged is the right answer. Who said a blessing rests on the house where the shadow of a tree falls? A, grandmother. B, uncle. C, grandfather. D, the visitor. Option A, grandmother is the right answer. The visitor came back to the house because he dash. Option A, wanted to see the jackfruit tree. B, was looking for his lost youth. C, wanted to look again at his old house. D, wanted to buy the house. Option B, was looking for his lost youth is the right answer. The last question, the visitor gifted the dash to the little girl. The visitor gifted the dash to the little girl. Option A, iron cross. Option B, marbles. Option C, bronze medal. Option D, old coins. Option A, iron cross is the right answer. And now we will see some question and answer which is at the book back. Explain. Blessings rest on the house where the shadow of a tree falls. Answer. The narrator's grandmother used to say these words. She felt that a house with a tree shadow falls on it was blessed. Question number 2. What did the writer observe about the house? Answer. The writer observed that the old house he had lived in as a boy hadn't changed much. The turnstile was gone and only fewer trees were there. Question number 3. How did he get back the iron cross? The girl in the house climbed up the thick branch of the tree and found the iron cross from the hollow. The girl in the house climbed up the thick branch of the tree and found the iron cross from the hollow. And now in the story, A lot of short forms are used, not only in prose, you can see short forms even in novels, essays, and in short stories. Okay, so now we will see the full form of the given short forms. You'd, the full form of you'd is you would or you had. They've, the full form of they've is they have. The full form of he'd is he had or he would. He is, the full form of he is he is. Wasn't, the full form of wasn't was not. Isn't, the full form of isn't is not. Okay, similarly, lot of other short forms are there. Short forms are used in short stories, novels, and in essays. So we should know the full forms as well. And now we are going to enter a writing exercise. So listen to the question properly and answer appropriately. After 6 years, you're visiting the primary school where you studied, you get a chance to sit at the same place where you used to sit in your standard 2 classroom. 6 வருஷம் ஆயிடுச்சு, நீங்க செகண்ட் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ல இருந்த அதே கிளாஸ் ரூம்ல அதே இடத்துல உட்காரக்கூடிய ஒரு சந்தர்ப்பம் உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்குது. அதை ரிமெம்பர் பண்ணி நீங்க ரெண்டு क्वेश्चनக்கு ஆன்சர் பண்ண போறீங்க. Okay, the first question is what do you remember, and the second question is who do you miss badly, your friends or teacher. And now there is a simple model answer given here and you can write your own answers. Answer for the question number 1. I remember the old days with lot of fun. I remember the care and affection of the teachers. I also remember a friend who used to sit next to me and share his things with me. An answer for the question number 2. I miss my friends. We had a wonderful time together. We used to play hide and seek even during the lunch intervals. We used to share our snacks and articles during the break. On seeing these pictures, you would have gone down your memory lane, write a paragraph in about 50 words describing your favorite sport when you were young. பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 6 பிக்சர்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச விளையாட்டு, சின்ன வயசுல இது எல்லாமே நம்ம விளையாடி இருப்போம். உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச விளையாட்டை சூஸ் பண்ணி you're supposed to write 50 words, a paragraph on your own. For example, here in the first picture, a boy is playing with a motorcycle tire. Okay, எல்லாருமே சின்ன வயசுல டயர் ஓட்டியிருப்போம். And the second picture, the traditional South Indian sport called gilli. Even when I was a kid, I used to play a lot. I simply enjoyed playing gilli with my friends, the local cricket. In the third picture, 2 kids are playing with palm leaf pinwheel. Okay, it's an excellent game. Usually kids below 10 years old, they used to enjoy that. And the fourth picture, a boy is aiming at something, probably a mango or any fruit. He is using his catapult. And the fifth picture, 2 guys are playing with kites. The last one, some children are playing with top and rope. So all these 6 pictures will bring down your memory lane. Choose one from the picture and write about 50 words on your own. Okay children, I hope you enjoyed the prose. Right now we will have a small recapitulation of what we saw in the lesson. Here the author Ruskin Bond, he deals and discusses with the emotion and memory of a middle-aged person. A middle-aged gentleman comes to visit his old house after 25 years. But still, for the surprise, the house which he used to live before 25 years was still the same. Because it was built with blocks of granite and there used to be a lot of trees in the compound. But right now, some trees are missing, but he was so glad to see his favorite jackfruit tree. And there used to be a turnstile in the compound on which the visitor used to swing all day until he gets dizzy. Now the turnstile is gone. At the time, a little girl with lively eyes and black long hair approaches the visitor. She communicates with the gentleman and asks some questions. For instance, what is the purpose of visit? Is he here to buy back the house? And the visitor explains her that he used to live there 25 years ago, and after the departure of his grandmother, they have nothing left in the town, so they sold the house and moved out. and the girl invites the person to the house. And the author, the visitor, he tried his level best to climb the wall, but he is completely exhausted after climbing the wall. He sat under this mango tree on a beautiful stone bench, and that is the place where his grandmother used to sit after maintaining the garden. She loved gardening, and especially she used to prune all the rose plant. Now, the scent of the mango tree was so amazing, he remembered all the things. He remembered the sound of the piano. His grandfather used to play piano. In addition to that, there is where he learned how to play piano. And he remembered the chiming of the clock. He remembered his grandfather cranking up the old car engine, etc. And also, he loved the tweets of the budgerigas, a tiny Australian plant. When he was conversing with the girl, he also mentioned about the jackfruit tree. The jackfruit tree is his favorite, on which he used to climb when he was a boy. And there is a hollow on the tree where he used to hide certain things. And he shared that with the girl. Few marbles, some old coins, a book which he is not supposed to read, and an old iron cross which belonged to his grandfather. The girl was so curious and she wanted to try to bring the articles back. But the visitor said, "Okay, child, this is 25 years ago, and right now nothing would be there." But the girl climbs up the thick branches of the jackfruit tree and found the iron cross. ரொம்ப சிரமப்பட்டு ஒரு சின்ன பொண்ணு, ஒரு 12-13 வயசு பொண்ணு அந்த மரத்தை ஏறி அவருக்காக அந்த அயன் கிராஸை திருப்பி கொண்டு வந்து கொடுக்குறா. அதை பார்க்கும்போது அவருக்கு அவ்வளோ ஒரு ஆனந்தம். பிகாஸ் தட் அயன் கிராஸ் வாஸ் வெரி ஸ்பெஷல். தி அயன் கிராஸ் பிலாங் டு ஹிஸ் கிராண்ட்ஃபாதர், and his grandfather was a British soldier, and this was gifted by a German soldier to him. He preserved that for so many years, and now he held it in his hand, which gave him immense pleasure. But he did not take it with him. He gifted that to the little girl because she took the step and found the iron cross. And now, after enjoying the day, he wanted to move out. The girl accompanied him till the gate. After moving out, he looked up and turned back and waved at her. There was a sprightliness, some energy in his step. The day spent well because he was on the right day at the right time and with the right person. இந்த ரைட் டே ரைட் பர்சன் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறது அந்த பொண்ணு தான் சொல்கிறாரு. அந்த குழந்தை இருந்தனால தான் அன்றைக்கி அவருக்கு எல்லாமே கிடச்சிது. அவருடைய என்டையர் யூத்தை ரிவைவ் பண்ண மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபீலோட, சந்தோஷத்தோட அவர் அந்த இடத்துக்கு போகிறாரு. ஸோ such a wonderful piece of story written by Ruskin Bond, and he is the author who promoted children's literature in India, and he had done so many works to elevate the purpose. Okay children, hope you enjoyed this class. We will meet again with some other topic. Thank you.